Hi, everybody. So my name is Zhixi. I am the Senior Product and BD Strategist at Bob. I'm also one of the founding member. I've been working alongside Alexei and Dominic, which is our founders, for the past 4 years. We have been building on a lot of products, doing tons of research, and exploring a lot of ecosystem, all with the same consistent mission, which is to make Bitcoin, thank you, to make Bitcoin usable and scalable in DeFi. Okay, so what are the main challenges for building on Bitcoin nowadays, and what are the challenges for Bitcoin being used in DeFi? Some very familiar terms: slow block time, 10 minutes block time, lack of smart contract capability, lack of interoperability with other ecosystem. When it comes to DeFi adoption, there's not a lot of real yield on Bitcoin. If you want to earn on-chain yield, most likely you'll have to go through mining. And mining facility is extremely expensive for normal people, and even the technical requirements become a huge barrier for normal people to participate in on-chain Bitcoin yield. And so this leads to a consensus in the ecosystem that layer 2s are necessary for DeFi for Bitcoin. But what are some of the reasons that layer 2s are not being fully adopted, and why are layer 2s for Bitcoin not seeing as much adoption as layer 2s on Ethereum or other ecosystem? Some common problem that we see include, first, security issues. A lot of layer 2s rely on centralized bridges. Maybe you're trusting a multisig. Maybe you're trusting a network of signers. But there's not a lot of ways where you can bridge Bitcoin in a decentralized and trust minimized ways. There are protocols that build a stack that's very native or very programmable for what Bitcoiners will want to use. But a lot of time we see layer 2s that are built completely isolated from the rest of the crypto ecosystem. And we will see that when users want to get into those layer 2s, they have to download a different wallet. When developers want to build in their layer 2s, they will have to learn a different programming language. All of these factors become huge barrier of entry for adoption. So what kind of layer 2 do we want to see? What kind of layer 2 do we need for Bitcoin? First, we need layer 2s that security-wise is aligned with Bitcoin. We want layer 2s that's interoperable with other ecosystem, that can open doors for user and developers to not only access what is on the ecosystem, but also what's beyond, what's in the wider crypto space. We need layer 2s that provide security from Bitcoin, and also bridging solution that is trustless, that's trust minimized, that echoes with the Bitcoin ethos. So this is Bobchain. Bobchain is a hybrid chain, and we call ourselves hybrid because we try to bring the best of Bitcoin and Ethereum together. Bob is built on OP Stack. We're a fully EVM rollup. We're also part of the superchain, which means as a user or builder, the developer experience and the user experience is exactly the same as that of Base, Unichain, WorldChain, you name it. We recently went through the Kailua upgrade. We got ZK fraud proof through boundless network, which means the withdrawal window from Bobchain to Ethereum mainnet went down from a couple of days to a couple of hours. And because we are OP Stack EVM rollup, we're able to onboard blue chip DeFi dApps that have been battle tested. The main DEX on Bob is Uniswap, and we're also in the last stage of governance with Aave to onboard the best lending protocol on chain. That makes us a fully EVM rollup, but what is our connection with Bitcoin? Bitcoin finality, we tap into the Babylon protocol. We're one of the BSN, Bitcoin Secured Network. Babylon have a way to provide a proof of stake engine to secure networks with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin stakers provide native BTC into the Babylon protocol, and chains like us, Bobchain, will be economically aligned with those Bitcoin that's being at stake. And we can expand to that later if we have more time. And lastly, BitVM Bridge. BitVM is a way to run arbitrary program on Bitcoin. This is a technology that showed up last year. And the main use case for BitVM is to power Bitcoin bridges and Bitcoin rollup in the most trustless way. If I put it in one sentence, instead of trusting one custodian or a centralized custodian, you will be putting your Bitcoin in custody with a network of operators, liquidity providers, and challengers, which is permissionless. So as long as there's one person that is acting honest in this network, your Bitcoin is secured. So the top stack, EVM compatibility, and then Bitcoin security make us a hybrid chain. But how do we make Bitcoin usable today? And this comes to the bottom line here, BTC intents. And I want to introduce you Bob Gateway. BitVM, as I mentioned, is what we believe to be the future of Bitcoin cross-chain. We believe that one day people are going to use BitVM-powered bridges to bring Bitcoin into the wider ecosystem. But today, there's already a lot of gap, a lot of demand that's not met in the wider ecosystem. And people are using wrapped version of BTC derivatives, and there's a lot of opportunities there. When we launched Bob Mainnet last year in May, we noticed a big problem where a lot of our target audience, our investors, people who want to LP into our network, they hold native BTC, but there's not a very easy way to bring native BTC directly into Bobchain, because we were last year a new chain, and there was like a decentralized service like Chainflip, Thorchain, which are amazing protocols. They will support only a few destination chains. And for user to bring their Bitcoin into Bobchain, they will have to go through like a centralized providers, or they have to go to 3 or 4 different websites to bring the liquidity across. So we built our own Bitcoin intents bridge. This intents protocol rely on a light client that live on Bobchain. This light client, or we can call it a relayer, will be able to read Bitcoin transactions on the Bitcoin chain, and it will be able to execute smart contract calls on the EVM chain, on Bobchain. And what will happen is user will be able to send one Bitcoin transaction together with the user intent, and then they will be able to receive the destination asset on the destination chain. And from there, because Bobchain is interoperable with all of these ecosystem and have high compatibility with most of the DeFi protocol, we noticed that user can not only express intent in destination asset on destination chain, but they can also express intent in, I want to get into a DeFi position, or I want to get into a complex vault, like maybe I want to loop my asset 3 times and land in one of these lending protocols. Maybe I want to go to a curated vault, and with the message that is being attached in the intent message, we're able to also make those contract call. And what this means is the Bob Gateway become a playground for developers. It's not only a way to pass through assets, but we also want to invite people to build on top of it, play with our SDK, play with our API to make native BTC accessible for not just the Bobchain, but also the wider, broader Bitcoin the crypto ecosystem. Bobchain, we have a lot of ways for people to earn yield on Bitcoin. But when we look at all of these other chains, there's new rollup showing up every day. There are app chains with different purposes. And the one thing that we can agree on is everybody wants Bitcoin. Bitcoin being the oldest cryptocurrency in the world and the most adopted cryptocurrency in the world is triggering appetite for everybody to look into BTC5. And because Bobchain is interoperable with all of these other smart contract chains, we have layer 0 endpoint, we have CCIP endpoint, where we can use Hyperlink warp route. We can also be very easily integrated into any other type of interop protocols. That make Bobchain a perfect liquidity and execution layer for this intense flow. And on top of that, all the other characteristics that I just mentioned earlier about Bobchain being secured by Bitcoin and us, heavily invested into building the future of Bitcoin cross-chain through BitVM also make us a ecosystem that is future-proof for anything that you want to do with smart contract and Bitcoin. So this is a product that we announced last month. This is the first iteration of the Gateway Bridge. It's a bridge which allows you to bridge your native BTC into WBTC on 11 chains that are EVM. This is kind of like a demo that we made for other developer, but it's actually also live. This is currently the cheapest way for users to go from native Bitcoin directly into Unichain, Optimism, Barachain, all of these ecosystem with active reward on WBTC right now. And the way that we do it is marrying the intense protocol between Bobchain and native BTC with layer zero's mint and burn logic for WBTC OFT. This way, user, without having to go through multiple protocol, can directly go from native BTC to a destination chain. And we're going to be exploring the same kind of system, but with different messaging protocol and partnership. This way, we can open up more doors for not just bridging, but also swapping, earning, zapping, anything that you want to, you may want to see. So this is kind of like a visualizer. User express intent, send one Bitcoin transaction, and they receive destination asset on destination chain. And under the hood, we have the light client that is proving transaction, reading transaction that is on the Bitcoin chain and executing the smart contract calls on Bobchain. And then we use either a messaging protocol or other interop protocols to execute user intent further onto the destination. So for summary, we're Bob, build on Bitcoin, but we also want you to build on Bob. We are a hybrid chain combining the best of Ethereum and Bitcoin. We provide a solution for the lack of real yield on Bitcoin by integrating the Babylon protocol for Bitcoin staking to create a flywheel effect for yield, where user stake Bitcoin, provide security to networks, network generate LSTs or other DeFi activities, generate sequencer fee go back to the Bitcoin staker, where they have more liquidity to stake back into Bitcoin. We're future-proof with BitVM, where we're building the most trustless way to bridge Bitcoin and bring native BTC into DeFi. And right now, we have BTC Intents, aka Bob Gateway, which is powering cross-chain movement in the most seamless way from native BTC directly into the entire crypto world. Yeah, that is my presentation. I went a little bit over time and appreciate everyone who is here and has been listening. Thank you very much. Enjoy Buenos Aires.